Hey, good Saturday morning. A windy, cool, cold Saturday morning in January. I hope this finds you well. Well, I made a mistake, not the first one for sure, and probably not the last one. I said that we would cover, I think, chapter 7 yesterday and chapters 8 and 9 today, but I messed up and covered chapter 8 yesterday. So I'm going to do 7 and 9 today, and now we're right back on target. And like so many of our mistakes, God is able to take our mistakes and bring glory to himself. Maybe it's a great thing to cover 7 and 9 together because it's Job speaking in both chapters. Chapter 8 was Bildad speaking. In chapter 7, Job is still answering Eliphaz, but he actually turns it into a prayer, a cry to God. He points out that he's been crushed, that he doesn't consider himself arrogant. He may have been confident, but now that confidence is shaken. But he certainly never possessed arrogance, and he begins to cry out in chapter 7, God, why have you done this to me? Why have you put a target on my back? And then after Bildad speaks in chapter 9, Job begins to cry out and and proclaims in chapter 9. He says, I am like a day laborer out in the field who's just longing for shade. I'm like a slave who needs a break. He said, I've been put through it. And then he basically just makes the plea, especially since Bildad has just spoken. Job is saying, everything that you said is true about God. He said, but it doesn't really apply to my situation. You haven't satisfied my need. You haven't said anything that is of any benefit to me. You've talked around me rather than to me. And then Job begins to point out the wonderful creative power of God. He even refers to several constellations in the solar system and points out God's great creative power, pointing out, he said, I would know that if I were contending with God, that my case would be hopeless because I can't contend with God. But Job continues to articulate his defense and really pleads for someone to come and intercede for him. And isn't it great that you and I have an intercessor? We have someone who stands between us and God on our behalf, our Redeemer, the one who paid the price for our sin, our adjudicator, our intercessor, the one who pleads on our behalf, who has satisfied the debt of our sin. Thankful for the Lord Jesus. Hey, I hope you have a great Saturday. May God richly bless you. Looking forward to being able to worship tomorrow. May the weather be satisfactory for us to be in God's house. For 9:15 Sunday School, 10:30 worship, 5 and 6 walk through the Bible sessions, 2 and 3. And I hope you have a great remainder to your weekend. It's Job, let me get this right now, Job 8 and 9 to be read today, Job 10 to be read tomorrow, and then chapter 11 on Monday. Hope you have a great rest to your weekend. Some will get an extended weekend because of the holiday, and others will be right back to the grind. But whatever your case, I hope God will richly bless you. Take care.